Welcome to Hubbard Helps, a program that spotlights the people and organizations making a difference in Chicago. Now, here's your host, Rachel Kelso.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, a time to acknowledge survivors and advocate for victims and their families. And that's exactly what the local nonprofit Wings sets out to do by providing safe housing, education, and other services to those who are abused. Here with us this morning is President and CEO of Wings, Rebecca Darr. Rebecca, thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
What was the inspiration behind the start of Wings, and what has your journey to your role as President and CEO been?
Wings was started in 1985 by some church members in the northwest suburbs of Chicago who saw a need for housing for homeless women and children. And over the last 35 years, that's evolved into the largest domestic violence program in the state of Illinois. We saw early on, when I joined Wings a little over 20 years ago, that the reason that women and children were becoming homeless was due to domestic violence. They were trying to leave the situation and did not have the financial means and resources to maintain their housing and ended up homeless. So what we decided to do was to kind of stop that cycle of homelessness, and we built emergency safe houses so when they were leaving, they would have a place to go, that we could take care of all of their basic needs and help them financially get back on their feet. And so that's what we've done over the years. We have two safe houses, one in the Chicago area and one in the suburbs of Chicago. And then we have homes and apartments that they move to from those safe houses. So we provide a long-term support to really help people get back on their feet. Therefore, they don't go back to an abusive situation.
And October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. What is Wings doing to honor the cause, and what are some important facts that people should know about the prevalence of domestic violence?
During October, all of the domestic violence organizations highlight different facts and figures and the different aspects of domestic violence. So our staff are sending out 2 times a week just information to the public and on social media about different facets of domestic violence. For example, many people don't think about financial abuse as part of domestic violence, and it's one of the main reasons that victims are stuck in the situation because they don't have money and they're not given access to money. And therefore, if they leave, they're going to end up homeless if there's not a safe house to take them in and help them the way that we do at Wings. What we have also seen during this pandemic is the increase in domestic violence. The Illinois statewide hotline has seen an increase of 70% this year. And so we're trying to respond to that by helping people, not just in our safe houses, but securing funding that we can put them in hotel rooms and care for their needs there, so that they're not stuck in the situation that they were in during this pandemic. The prevalence of domestic violence had already been pretty high. National statistics, 1 in 3 women during their lifetime and 1 in 4 men. And a lot of people don't think about it impacting men, but we do take in single men and fathers with their children who are experiencing financial, emotional, and sometimes physical abuse.
What are the signs that someone is experiencing domestic abuse, both for victims to hear and also for loved ones to understand what to look out for?
Well, the underlying premise of domestic violence is power and control. It is one individual exerting power and control over another. And it could be something as simple as, oh, honey, I love you so much, you don't need to hang out with those people. You have me. You don't need them. Well, that's controlling the individual where maybe they want to be with their friends and they shouldn't have to choose, and can go as severe as, if you go with those people, I'll hurt you physically, I'll do the threats and intimidation. So it takes a lot of different forms. And I think for family members, it can be very scary because you don't know what to say and you don't know what to do. And I would encourage listeners to, if you have a family member who you're concerned about, you can call Wings or you can call the statewide hotline for advice and help with a family member. The main thing is not to judge them. You haven't walked in their shoes to understand what they're going through, and just to be as supportive as you can for that family member or friend. So that's something that's really critical. And also for abusers, someone is identifying themselves as being controlling and want to change that behavior, they can by calling, the hotline and getting help. So we encourage everyone to reach out and know that there is help out there through WINGS and through the domestic violence hotline.
This is Hubbard Helps on Hubbard Radio Chicago. I'm Rachel Kelso. Today we're joined by Rebecca Darr, President and CEO of WINGS, a nonprofit dedicated to helping victims of domestic violence. Now, you mentioned that you offer safe housing, but what are some of the other different services that WINGS offers victims and their families?
So within our housing, we provide everything for them. So when someone comes into our safe houses, they pay for nothing. We provide food, clothing, counseling, help with finding careers, hooking them up with legal help in terms of orders of protection. So it's a holistic, comprehensive program because by the time they're walking in our door, they literally have been beaten down figuratively and literally. And so our job is really just to take care of them and lift them back up. We give individual support to the kids, get their own counselor and their own activities to help them heal from the trauma that they've been through. And then once they're stable and they can move into their own home or apartment, if WINGS has one available, we will move them into our transitional housing program, or we will help them access housing in the community with rental assistance. So the goal is to get them out of the situation safely. It is important to know that the most dangerous time for a victim is when they're trying to leave because the abusers are losing control over them. And so for family members, that is really important to know because a lot of times if they come to a family member's house and, it can escalate and many people can end up hurt. So, we want WINGS and the other domestic violence agencies throughout the Chicagoland region want people to know that there is help for you. And if you call, we'll do what we can to help you get out of the situation.
Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has put life as we know it on hold, and that includes the cancellation of in-person events and the move to make events like that virtual. So how has WINGS had to adapt during the pandemic in all walks of your operation, and what events do you have planned for the near future?
We just held our Purple Tie Ball at the beginning of October. We always kick off Domestic Violence Awareness Month with our annual gala, and we did do that event virtually. It took a lot of extra work, but we were very pleased. People tuned in and watched the hour-long program and were inspired by our graduates who completed our program and are doing exceptionally well with their life goals. And so that was just held. We have another event that will be held virtually, our Sweet Home Chicago event, that people can get more information on our website at wingsprogram.com. But really, it's the individual fundraising, especially during this time of year. We're meeting with donors and talking with them about how they can make a year-end gift to the organization because we do rely on contributions more than any other revenue stream and our events as well. So many people think that government is what pays for all of these services, and that is farthest from the truth. So we do rely on the community extensively.
And what are the best ways for those listening to help WINGS, as well as anyone that they may know who is a victim of domestic violence?
On our website at wingsprogram.com, there's all kinds of information about how people can get help. So if someone is needing support and advice and wants to see what we can do for them, they can find that at our website. Certainly, if listeners want to donate to help us continue this work at wingsprogram.com/StopDV, they can make a financial donation. We also want listeners to know that we take donations to our resale stores. Whenever people come in who need clothes and resources, our clients are able to access those at our resale stores. And it's donations from the community that help make that happen, as well as help us create revenue streams to help more families.
Do you have any advice for those listening who may know someone who is currently being abused and what they should do for them?
Yeah, if your listeners, if those of you out there know someone who you know is struggling with this, let them know that you're here for them and that it's not their fault. And that's important for people stuck in these situations and for children in particular to know that it is not their fault, and encourage them to call WINGS. Again, even if it's just to talk to someone, we have counselors in the community who work with people on safety planning. It's important to have a plan for leaving and also to be prepared for what the future holds, but to know that there are very dedicated individuals in the community at Wings and at other organizations who have dedicated their lives to helping people get out of the situation. And like I said, it's dangerous, so we want people to know that, we can help you with that safety plan. And again, just look at the website and see what resources we have and just call for advice, if nothing else.
And finally, what is the most gratifying part of being the president and CEO of Wings and helping so many victims of domestic violence?
Honestly, I have probably the best job in the world because I get to see someone walking in our door who really is just feeling like a broken soul and a broken individual, and literally watching them. We do call it a graduation. 2 years later, they are a completely different person and proud of their accomplishments, and they have their confidence back, and they have what they need to move forward. And most importantly, that their children are not going to go back to that situation, and that we have broken the cycle of domestic violence for that family. Not many people can have that kind of gratification of seeing a family take that journey and succeed and walk out the door to a happy, healthy life.
Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for shedding a light on a very, very important issue, and for all that you and every staff member, volunteer, donor for Wings does.
Well, thank you for doing the interview. I really appreciate it.
Our guest this morning has been Rebecca Darr, President and CEO of Wings. For more information, visit wingsprogram.com, and to reach their 24-hour crisis hotline, call 847-221-5680. And that's our show this week. Thank you for listening. I'm Rachel Kelso. Hubbard Helps is powered by Hubbard Radio, making a difference in Chicago.